Like I said, I'm gonna have to probably warm up to talking more and more each day. I've been singing. I've never sang. Like I took like music in school, like when I was in elementary. I've done like the school plays, sung in the choirs and stuff. But I never sang like American Idol or anything. But here lately, I've been singing. I've been singing. I've been really happy lately. I know like a lot of people are always like they go on about stuff that, you know, upsets them, things that make them mad and stuff like that. Things that are wrong in the world and all this. I don't focus on any of that shit. I just try to like figure out how I can make every day better than the last day. I'm aiming for the perfect day. I'm gonna wake up one day and have the perfect day. And then I want to have another one after that, like a better perfect day. So I've been cultivating this idea for a while and working on, like I have the first hours of my day structured pretty solid. And then it gets kind of loose as the day goes, but around 3 o'clock, that's whenever I turn it off, and it's just like, okay, we're coasting for the rest of the day. But I think of it like you hear the water, like I'm canoeing. I'm making deliberate strides and paddles in the first opening, like, voyage, I guess you could say. But once you get the trajectory and all that, you hit this like slipstream, this jet stream, and then you just coast for the rest of the day. Speaking of jet stream, like my wife's been flying. She's been traveling from California to Texas lately, and that's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult to take flights to places lately, especially I guess between Texas and LA. ATX to LAX. That shit was boo-boo, man. What should have took like maybe 4 or 5 hours ended up taking a couple days and then some, and she had to like reschedule so many times. So I've been dealing with some woosah there, trying to like help her with her woosah with my woosah. So I try to be like a good solid like rock or like confidence for my wife whenever she needs to like, you know, talk to somebody about something and all this. Now I'm not a super sappy dude, but I don't normally talk about any of this stuff because I get emotional and shit. I'm always worried that I'm gonna start like, you know, being a little bit too emotional on stream. I get that fear going outside too, like if I'm at the grocery store or something, like I'm gonna see something that's gonna like make me feel overwhelmed in some way and not be able to hide it from people. And that's something that I've been dealing with for a long time in my life, is like trying to be open and like allow people to see who I am and let people in and stuff. And I find the more I do it, the more I can like kind of expand myself in happiness and joy. So, but it's hard. It's like a real hard effort because you leave yourself vulnerable, and people take advantage of that too if they think that like you're this type of person. I don't know, like I try not to like let too many people have any sort of power over me in my day or my mood. So I've really been trying to design my life to where I can be totally self-sufficient, and teaching my son, and like I don't really say I teach my wife, but like at least I always think lead by example. So like I just represent an example of a type of person that lives that way for anybody, like including my wife, anyone else. And it's difficult because it's like, to say you're gonna do the right thing and be a good person or a stand-up person, that's like the hardest thing you could do, because it's like it's like accountability is important, and to me, like what I say I feel like is important, like it's a reflection of who I am. So I don't say things casually. I try to take, especially when I'm speaking very seriously about something, like I try to take every word into account, and I try to think very deeply about a subject before I talk about it. And I also try to make people aware I'm not an expert, and I struggle with these things myself, and this is me trying to figure things out. Like speaking about them helps me figure them out. So I think also people act things out long before they actually know what they're saying. And I've been acting out something here on this channel for more than 6 years. Last time I checked, it was 6 years. It's probably more than that now. But I come and go from the channel, and I have a presence on different platforms, and I do the same with those. Like, I graze. I'm not married to any one of these things, and I'm not married to any one group of people. I find my happiness is much more in trying to create a foundation of stability for myself, not relying on other people. And that means like dealing with a lot of the trauma and stuff that I grew up with, and looking at it honestly and trying to find out like, hey, is this something I'm bullshitting myself on, or is this something like I legitimately am like suffering? And I think that I get into like a paralysis by analysis whenever I try to like think about how I think, and I try to pick apart my thoughts, and I hear other people think like a certain way about things also, and I get attracted to like, oh, this person kind of like sees the world the way I understand it. Like what here, like it's important that we see things the same, but what here is like, what's the juice of this situation? Like, how do I connect with this person and not leave myself vulnerable for an attack or to be scammed or something like that? You can't always just like talk to the verified people because they're very busy, but that's what that type of stuff represents. Like, you know, if you had like a verified symbol, people would be like, oh, you know, you can put some weight in what this person's saying because they're invested in this name, and this name's a reflection of a good investment, right? Because that's what the verified thing means. It means like, this is a legit account. This person actually has like a following of people who agree. And I don't think that's healthy. I don't want a big bubble of people that are saying the same things that I say back to me. Like, I want to hear new things, and I want to hear different things, and I want to hear things that I disagree with that I might come back to and start to understand and maybe eventually agree with. I find that a lot. Like, a lot of the stuff that I thought I knew, I had to unlearn. And yeah, this is what's been going on in the Elude Stalwart. The Elude Stalwart verse. The Stalwart Vanguardian verse. I made something today. I'm switching it up now. We're not talking about that shit anymore. Okay. I made something today. Let me see if I can find it. I was thinking this. For some reason, I was thinking this morning. I'm gonna put the display capture on. It's gotta be the other display though, so let me get this. Here it is. It was this. Victory or death. I think that's gonna be the Stalwart Vanguard's credo. Like, you know how, like, you got like a motto, usually you got like the company name, and it's like, you know, all state, you're in good hands. Like, this is the Stalwart Vanguard, victory or death. Because I feel like that's what I've been working on. This is, the Stalwart Vanguard is taking control of your life, taking control of your day, and taking control of your happiness. Like, my happiness isn't contingent on whether or not this game releases its update cycles fast enough or predictably enough so I can lord my EP over people. My happiness is much more, can I go in and enjoy myself? And did I have fun after that? And that's it. But I often wonder, did I have fun whenever I watch a video and someone's like ridiculing or criticizing the way that the game's designed? Because I'm like, you know what, that is true. I noticed that stuff too. And there are things that bother me about a lot of games. But I don't feel like any one game's problems are more important than generally like what all the games seem to suffer from. I just heard Asmongold talking about it recently. He said that it's like this predatory monetization in these like loot boxes and random chances of gambling your life away. That's the real problem, and I don't think he's right. I think he's wrong when he says that we can't control how this is being treated, because like in legislation, like, who cares about gamers? Like, gamers are more important now and growing more than ever before. And like, it's almost like we used to get the news. We used to have the news, and that connected us to all have like the town news. It's like that's moved. That's been like the TV, the radio. It became the radio. The newspaper became the radio. Became the TV. Became the internet. Becomes the blockchain or whatever. But this is where that's happening. It's like in your communities and where you love to have fun. Like that's where the news is. That's where you stay up to the times. Like right now, this is where it's at. If you want to get to know where all these other little Mokoko people are, they're all in Lost Ark. Like this is where we've agreed the playground is, at least for now. I mean, it's kind of shaky. Like these guys don't look stable on top of that globe. They look like they're about to fall off. But look at how pretty it looks. This is a really cool idea. I mean, some of the costumes and the customizations, the complexity. Once you get past the mind nuke of trying to understand it, like, it's actually a really fun game if you could get rid of the monetization stuff. If you can make it actually an equal footing and like a level playing ground. You just have to like be comfortable with allowing people to excel and for people to be able to go pew in their progression and their power to reach these godly heights. I know the inequality and all the people who are like, you know, scraping together their silvers and Phoenix down feathers just to survive the next level. Like, they're gonna see that and probably think, that's never gonna be me. But what if one of those guys looks up and says, that could be me? And what if he like gets another group of people that are like, oh, that could be us? And like, that's what I think. I was like, let these people reach these game-breaking heights. Now, I know what ultimately becomes a problem is the bottleneck of the technology. Like, you're gonna get to a place where so many people are using so many moves that have such large numbers they produce that it's gonna bog the server down every time these people hit a boss. But that's, like, as Miguel said, that's not our problem. That's something for the developers to figure out. And the way I think about it is, like, if you've ever played like those idle games, those little idle like auto clicker games, the numbers, they get larger and larger, but the numerical representation of that number doesn't have to be large itself. It could be like a 1M once you get to the million, or 1K once you get to the thousands. And add-ons have figured this out, and the game can probably figure out some way of doing this. I don't know, put an AI algorithm on it to figure it out if you can't figure it out. We have the technology, okay? Like, we can figure these types of problems out. We just have to think a little bit harder about it for a longer time. But that's my rant on that. I'm gonna drop that and probably get back to some gameplay before I say something that makes me sound less smart. Too late. Let's go.